Hi, it's Charlotte, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I've got a very different video and definitely nothing I've done on my channel before. I'm basically going to be giving you my top 10 Netflix binge-worthy recommendations. And by this I mean shows that I'm pretty sure all of these I've watched more than once, or most of them, and that's what I mean by binge-worthy. Like, you literally want to watch them again. I think that's why they're so good. Like, if a show's that good that you then watch the whole series again, it's pretty good, right? So yeah, these are definitely my top 10 like feel good, I just want to rewatch them over and over and over Netflix shows. And I don't really know why I wanted to do this. I guess just because this year's just been really weird. We've been going through lots of lockdowns, so I feel like people are more and more than ever wanting recommendations of series to binge watch, to step out of reality and just live the fantasy of a TV show. I know that's definitely what I've been doing. I've just been rewatching my feel-good TV shows rather than watching new TV shows, because I just feel like it makes me feel cozy and comfortable and I know how it ends. So yeah, if you'd like to see that, then please carry on watching. So please excuse the lack of makeup today. I'm actually trying a new lash serum because I absolutely hate my eyelashes at the moment, so that's why I've got no mascara on. So I didn't actually find this too difficult. There are a lot of Netflix shows I love. So many. I've watched a lot. But there are not many that I think I would happily rewatch over and over. And there's not a lot where there's loads of seasons so you can really get sucked into it. Picking this top 10 was actually really quite easy for me. So I'll get started. The first one is going to be Gossip Girl. And I can't believe it took me so long to watch it. I don't think I watched it until university, and this is 6 seasons, although honestly I think it feels longer than that, and it's actually what I've last watched. So I watched it in like the first 2 weeks of like the autumn lockdown. I've watched Gossip Girl approximately 4 or 5 times, like from start to end, and I just always go back to it. This show is basically about, I think how many main characters there are, but I would roughly say the main characters are 3 guys and 2 girls. And I'd probably say the girls are probably the absolute main characters and they're kind of like best friends, or most of the time they are when they pull through. And yeah, basically the 6 seasons is like ins and outs of like dating and friends and school and like growing up, going to college and finding work. And the show also really largely focuses on like people who are from like really rich families and can just get what they want, and families that aren't really used to that, so it sort of shows you a bit of both, and like conflict there and the struggles of like dating and friendship when like you can't really relate to them. And then of course it's called Gossip Girl, so it basically throughout the whole 6 seasons the question is, who is Gossip Girl? And I feel like at the start they're not really trying to find out who Gossip Girl is, but they definitely do towards the later seasons. And it's quite nice that it's sort of like the overcap of the show. Like, there's always other things going on, but the main thing is who's Gossip Girl basically, and trying to guess who she is. I feel like mixed to most people, I actually really love the ending. There's no part of me that wasn't satisfied by the ending, so I absolutely love this show, and it's just a feel-good show. I absolutely love it. It makes me feel so cozy, and yeah, I just love like the drama in it. It's just, I just find it so entertaining every single episode. So that's the first one. Number 2 is going to be Friends. Do I need to say no more? Based around 3 guys and 3 girls, and quite similarly it's about like sort of dating and friendship, mainly on the friendship, and yeah, just like the ins and outs of life and growing up, going from being like a kid, being an adult, getting married, thinking about kids. And it's just the most feel-good show. This is 10 seasons, so if you really want like a long show to watch and you haven't watched it yet, although if you haven't, why haven't you watched it? It's literally my favourite show, and if I could only watch one show for the rest of my life, it would be this. Each of like the 6 friends has like a completely different personality, which is quite refreshing, that none of them are like the same. The most amazing show, and the fact that it ends is the only sad thing. Yeah, this is the kind of show that you can literally put in the background. I definitely do that all the time, but I also will happily rewatch it over and over. I can't tell you how many times I've rewatched this show. The next one I'm going to talk about is fairly new to me, and I haven't rewatched this yet, but I just know that I will. and it is New Girl. So this has 7 seasons, so again, quite a lot. And I only watched it this year, which I don't know. I think sometimes seeing a show that's got so many seasons and you haven't even started it yet can be a little bit like, not intimidating, I don't know what the word is, but you're like, oh, like that's going to take so long. But then, oh, when you get sucked into it, suddenly it's not enough. Suddenly you're like, oh my god, I'm going to finish this soon. The show basically starts off with a girl, the big girl, Jess, and she's gone through a breakup and she moves in with 3 guys for her roommates and basically just goes from there. So funny. I find her hilarious. She's so weird. Actually, my favourite thing about this show is how weird and herself she is. She doesn't really care what people think about her. She just is herself. I just find that, I don't know, I just find it so nice to watch. It makes me think that I don't really have to care about what people think and I can just be as weird as I want to be. And so I think that's a really nice message in the show. But yeah, and you basically just follow her best friend and the 3 guys she's living with. You just follow them through their lives, just follow them through their day-to-day lives. It's absolutely hilarious and I definitely am going to be rewatching this at some point. Show number 4. Okay, show number 4. This is a cheat. I'm really sorry. I have to mention it because when I was planning this video, it was on Netflix. The Vampire Diaries, which has 8 seasons, so oh my god, you could just watch this for the longest time. It's not on Netflix anymore. It's not on Netflix anymore. And it upsets me so much. I would say after Friends, this is the show that I've watched the most. I must have rewatched it like 10 times, honestly. I love it so much. I'm really sorry this is my Netflix recommendations and I'm saying this, but all I can hope is that they bring it back, or just please find a website to watch it because you need to watch the show. It is so good. It can be cheesy at times and maybe it's not always the best acting and it can be quite soppy, but I just love all the actors and I think and from watching it so much, I think I'm just in love with the characters and with the storyline, and I don't know. It's just a really like I said, a cozy show where I've just watched it so many times and it just makes me feel good when watching it. So basically the main character in this is Elena and she's your average girl apart from she's been through a lot. She's lost her parents, she does have a brother and she lives with her aunt Jenna, and it basically starts off in high school, and as you can gather from the Vampire Diaries, she meets a couple of nice looking vamps and basically her world gets turned around, and whether it's for better or the worse you could decide. There's so many good characters in Vampire Diaries, oh my god, like Catherine Pierce, amazing, Enzo, amazing, Kai, amazing. I just love everyone so much. I don't really know who my favourite character is, and Alaric, oh my god, the Damon Alaric relationship is absolute goals. I love it so much. And yeah, you just need to be sucked into it. There's just lots of like mystical, like werewolves, vampires, spells, witches. If you're into that, watch it. The next one I'm going to mention is Riverdale, which actually has the least amount of seasons on my list. It's only got 4, but it is an ongoing show. A lot of the ones I'm mentioning have finished, however this is still ongoing. Again, I think I discovered this about last year or the year before, so I haven't yet rewatched it, but I just know I happily would. I think I already feel like I want to because they've kind of paused in filming at the moment. It starts off with a blonde gal called Betty. This is based off the comics, the Archie comics, I think. So she's got like a best friend called Archie, and then you meet Veronica and Jughead along the way as well, so they're like the 4 main characters. But there's also Cheryl. I love her. She's my absolute favourite. She's such a queen. Yeah, you basically follow them through high school, but it's a little bit more, there's like a bit of romance, a bit of mystery, there's a bit of like, who are they, who did it? I'm such a bad explainer. It is quite cheesy, I must admit. I find it quite hard to find someone who's enjoyed it like I have. Not a lot of people like it. I mean, wow, I'm really selling it, aren't I? A lot of people I talk to haven't enjoyed it, but I really like it. But I think it's because when I start watching something, I get really invested in the characters. Good. I love all the characters and I love like the little bit of mystery. There's not a lot of shows I watch that have like mystery. You just have to not find the characters annoying basically. But I think the actors are all really good in it. Obviously Cole Sprouse is in it. So if that's your cup of tea and sells it to you, sold it to me basically. It did take me a few episodes to get into it, I must admit. Unlike the other shows I've just mentioned, this one did take me a while to get into it, but once I did, I was so glad I started watching it. Okay, so number 6 is Doctor Who. I can't believe I didn't say this first. So Doctor Who on Netflix, there are 10 seasons. But I mean, if you Google it, there are a lot. But I would recommend starting from the 9th Doctor, which I think is where it starts on Netflix. So, Doctor Who, how do I explain this? He is a Time Lord, and basically, I think they're on the 13th Doctor at the moment, but the 1st to the 8th Doctor was like a long time ago. Basically, I haven't watched them because they're quite old, and I think my dad watched them when he was younger. Even that, I'm not even too sure. Basically, by the time my dad introduced me to Doctor Who, I was about 10, 11, which was when it sort of, Doctor Who stopped and then it like renewed itself. Like it started up again with the 9th Doctor. So it's kind of like the modern Doctor Who. So I just started from there, which was played by Christopher Eccleston, who I loved. You know, he was just so amazing. Fantastic. Then we moved on to the 10th Doctor with David Tennant, which kind of made me obsessed with Doctor Who. I love David Tennant. I love him so much. He's my favourite person. And then we moved on to the 11th Doctor for Matt Smith. Matt Smith was also amazing. He played such a good Doctor. And then we moved on to the 12th Doctor with Peter Capaldi. I finished watching Peter Capaldi, but I haven't been watching the 13th Doctor yet. I'm not gonna lie. The 9th, 10th, 11th era was like the perfect era of Doctor Who. But it's definitely the kind of thing you can start off with any season, any episode really. You don't have to watch it in order if you don't want to, because every single episode has got its own thing going on. Sometimes there is an overlapping season thing happening, you know what I mean? But in general, every single episode has its own thing going on, and I just think it's different from any other show. I just got so hooked from watching the 9th Doctor. He always has like a companion, and they basically travel through time and stop monsters and change things in time, or stop other people from changing things in time, or, you know, stop the world from blowing up and stuff. But it is just based around this one man, this one Time Lord, this alien man, because he's not human. So that's why I think the 9th, 10th and 11th Doctors did so well. They just picked amazing actors for it, and really good companions throughout as well. So definitely give that a watch. So I always just go back to the old ones, especially the 9th, 10th and 11th. Constantly just go back and watch random episodes because it just makes me feel happy and a bit nostalgic. Next I'm going to say Merlin. So Merlin's got 5 seasons, and I think it hasn't been on Netflix for that long, I swear, because I didn't really notice it until recently. But I've recently rewatched Merlin with my little brother. We watched it like over like the last month or two, and I just remembered how much I loved it. This was actually only the 2nd time rewatching it, and I just remembered how good it was. If you couldn't tell from Merlin, it's revolving around the wizard Merlin, basically trying to make sure that Prince Arthur fulfills his destiny by becoming the king of Camelot, and I just love it. The actor for Merlin and Arthur, those two actors, they've just got so much chemistry, I can't tell you. Again, I mean, obviously every show, you know, if it isn't for the good acting, it's not going to be a good show, but I just can't tell you how well these actors work together, and it just makes for such a comedic show. There is, of course, like magic, there's quite a lot of sadness and like tragedy, things going wrong, shall we say, or like people trying to take the king down, but there's also a lot of humour, a lot of like love, and it is just such a nice show. Like, I'd probably say this is probably like a really good family show to watch together, because I don't know. I'm pretty sure also I had like a major crush on Prince Arthur when I first watched this. That might have kept me watching it. Next I'm going to talk about American Horror Story. So this has 8 seasons on Netflix. Like, I didn't actually realise how many seasons there were. I started watching American Horror Story when I was about, I want to say 16, and I've just been obsessed with it ever since. I don't think I've rewatched all of it. I think I've rewatched certain seasons, and how do I even describe American Horror Story? You know what, I'm really sorry. For every other show I've been able to do this, I'm like, how on earth do I describe American Horror Story? Each season is a self-contained mini-series following a different set of characters and settings. Some plot elements of each season are loosely inspired by true events. and most actors appear in more than one season. So yeah, basically the same actors in one season, pretty much all of them are in every single season playing different characters. In fact, I find it really cool and interesting because you get to see all the actors portraying different characters. But I'm going to go through each one. So the first season is Murder House. So again, with this show, you can definitely just watch them in different orders. So you could watch season 2 first if you want, or season 1 or 5. Season 1 is Murder House, which I really, really liked. I thought this definitely grabbed my attention straight away, but the main character in this season, the blonde girl, I love her so much. I find her quite like, what's this, scary? I don't know, I think she is a little bit. I fell in love just with the first season. Second season is Asylum. I found this season the creepiest and the most gruesome season. I can't rewatch this season because, I mean, it's good. It's really, really good. But oh my god, it's a bit terrifying. I literally could never rewatch that. Third season is Coven. I absolutely love it when they do stuff about witches. It can be a bit like, I don't know, scary. That's the best way of saying it. Like, a lot of it can be very gruesome, scary. There's a lot of like sex, and a lot of the time I think you're thinking like, I can't believe they've made this into a TV show. For the fourth season they did Freak Show, which wasn't my absolute favourite. I did like that Emma Roberts was making a big appearance in it. That is definitely, by the way, a huge reason why I started watching this. Emma Roberts, I absolutely friggin' love her. The fifth season was Hotel and the sixth was Roanoke. Both of those seasons. Hotel I didn't really like that much. I got quite bored. The sixth I found a little bit better, but again I was like, it's okay. And not bad, I just wasn't obsessed with it. Seventh season was Cult. Oh my god, I love this so much. Evan Peters played quite a big part in it. Evan Peters is amazing. I love him so much. Eighth season was Apocalypse, even better. They had a new actor in that season, I think Cody Fern. I absolutely loved him so much. And the latest season, the ninth season, 1984, has actually, I think, been my favourite yet. I don't know. I'm obsessed with the intro and the 1980s vibes. I can't really describe why, but it's just so good. Oh, but yeah, that's the ninth season, so I guess that's not on Netflix yet. But I mean, hopefully they'll put that on soon. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I think I've described that show awfully, but just believe me, just watch it and you'll get hooked. Okay, I'm then going to say Teen Wolf. This has 6 seasons on Netflix, and although I haven't rewatched this show, I just remember how much I love this. It's got Tyler Posey playing the main character. I'm trying to remember exactly what happens. Does he get like bit or something when he turns into a wolf? Something like that. And then he's got his best friend, his funny, dorky best friend, who's played by Dylan O'Brien. Amazing. He plays the character so amazingly. Yeah, basically the main characters have to like switch a little bit throughout the 6 seasons between like who they're dating or which girls they're interested in, or I think in the later seasons there's sort of like some younger wolves that they start like helping along. Oh my god, the intro for this as well. The intro for Teen Wolf alone makes you want to watch this show. Why am I doing this video when I'm so bad at explaining things? If you want a show about wolves, a bit of romance, a bit of high school, a bit of comedy, bit of like weird things going on behind the scenes where high school kids are trying to like save the world or like save people, then you know, this might be the one for you. I just think they're definitely played by, the show feels a little bit younger in cast than some of the other ones I've mentioned, which I think is quite nice because I feel like they do act a bit more high school-y than perhaps some of the other shows. Definitely one that's leaning more, I think, on the funny side, so it's a little bit more entertaining. And finally, for my 10th one, Glee, which surprisingly I looked and it says it only has 6 seasons, and I swear, in my head it felt like a lot longer than that. But Glee, I definitely rewatched quite a few times actually, about 3 or 4 times. I just love it so much. Like, if you don't like musicals or songs or singing along in your TV shows, then you won't like this. Or if you do, hop on this train. The main character is Lea Michele playing Rachel Berry. At least that's what I would say. There are quite a lot of main characters, but she's definitely the main character. And I love Lea Michele so much. Despite what some people think, I love her. And yeah, I just think she's amazing in this show. Oh my god, the amount of amazing voices in this. I just love that they basically they form this Glee club in the school, like kind of all the losers, because they want to feel a part of something, and they end up like being really, really good, going for like competitions. They're basically like, I don't know what you call it, but they sort of go to like regionals and sectionals, and they're basically trying to work their way up to the top. So it's basically mainly about them being in this Glee club and singing together, trying to work their way to the top. However, on the side, there's like dating, friendships going wrong, school drama, family problems, like all of that on the side. And I just think if you are more into sort of like the musicals, singing, I think it's also just a really good show for showing diversity as well. I think it was one of the first shows ever, I mean correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm saying one of the first shows ever, that was honestly the biggest message was just be yourself, don't care what anyone else thinks, you don't have to stick to this stereotype, be you. And I think it's just one of the best things about the show, aside from everyone's amazing voices. Yeah, that is my top 10 Netflix recommendations. Sorry if you don't agree, let me know what you would have replaced any with, if you're obsessed with any of these shows. If you'd recommend me anything based off these, like if I love these shows, do you think there's anything else I would enjoy watching? And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!